Yo everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Steins Gate Zero. When I opened the door, what I saw was visions from the heart of hell itself. There was blood everywhere, and bodies too. What is this? In the middle of the sea of blood was a girl in a motorcycle suit and helmet, covered in crimson as she lay on the ground. She held a giant cleaver. I could see instantly that she was responsible for this disaster. Her shoulders moved up and down a little, so evidently she was still alive. I approached the woman, trying my best not to throw up from the stench. Are you okay, Mommy? I could hear her voice from beneath the cracked, broken helmet. I looked closer and saw that some of the blood was her own. Her body was wrecked by bullet wounds, and her left hand was completely gone. It was a miracle that she had somehow survived all that. She didn't seem to notice me, as she slowly crawled through the blood. I followed her gaze and saw Mayuri huddled beneath the time machine. Suza seemed to be unhurt, but there was blood on Mayuri's face. I hadn't expected to see her here, and I was worried about her wound, but more than anything, I was glad to see she was safe. She raised her face when she heard my voice, but the next moment, her eyes locked on the girls in the motorcycle suit. She saw the thing crawling towards her and screamed. And this isn't what it looks like. Kagari didn't want to kill anyone. I just wanted to protect you. Kagari? Did she say Kagari? It was the only thing I realized. It was only then that I realized the girl in the motorcycle suit was the Shia Kagari that Suza had been looking for. I'm sorry, Mami. Kagari, that's enough. Suza yelled, unable to take it anymore. Don't move anymore. You'll die. Kagari didn't want to scare you. Really. I mean it. I just had to save you, so please don't hate me. I'm sorry, Mami. Forgive me. At last, her strength faded and she collapsed. I returned to my senses and ran to her before Suza could get there. Hey, are you okay? Her breathing was wheezy and shallow. One of the bullets had probably pierced her lungs. I thought taking off the helmet would help her breathe, so I put my hand on the helmet to remove it, but she grabbed my hand and pushed it away. No, don't. Don't take it in front of Mami and Big Sis Suzaha. Please, Okabe. Her voice and the way she talked. I realized who this girl called Shina Kagari was. I looked closer and saw I recognized her face. No, you're... But why? Huh. Yuki? Uncle Awkward, is Kagari okay? Stay back! I quickly motioned to Suza to keep her distance. Leave her to me, you take care of Marishu. Is she okay? Check for me. She looked upset, but did as I asked. She went back to Mayu and started to look at her wounds. Mayu was covering her face and trying not to look at the bodies. It's okay, it's not deep. I relaxed a little when I heard that. I'm so glad you're safe, Mami. Kagari's voice was a whisper, and I cradled her in my arms. And then she slowly closed her eyes. Her breathing had gotten weaker. Hang in there. Why are you... It's okay, don't worry. Even like this, I don't suffer or feel pain. I always hear the voice of God. He tells me it doesn't hurt, that I don't feel the pain. But I'm just... Cough. I'll tell you, Okabe. The real one doesn't know anything. She's been in Europe on the exchange program for 3 years. The professor manipulated things behind the scenes and sent me to Akibara. The real one doesn't know anything. The professor? Did she mean... In this worldline? Hashida and the real one will meet next year. Kagai opened her eyes a little more. Kagai opened her eyes a little once more and looked towards the time machine, towards Maho and Suzuha. It's okay. I'm sure the real one will love Hashida too, just like I did. I said it. Don't tell anyone. Okay? And this time, the smile was still shining in her eyes. They closed for real. With one final shudder, the strength left her body. Her life faded away in my hands. There was so much I wanted to ask her. Why had she appeared before us using that name? There were so many things I didn't understand. But Shinya Kagai's life ended in that moment. Uncle Hououin, is Kagai okay? I came back to my senses when I heard her voice. If I told her about Kagai's death, it would cause her a lot of mental stress. That wasn't a good idea. Right now I needed to do something about the time machine as fast as possible. She's okay. I'll take her to the hospital. I slung Kagai's bloody body around my shoulder and stood up. You shut down the time machine and hide it. The cops will be coming. It's too late. Before I could open the door, a huge shadow appeared from within. The professor. He wasn't dead, but he must have taken a lot of damage to the head because his face was the color of clay and one of his eyes wasn't focused. This will be a war zone soon. America, Russia, and Japan have started to move. Once the gears start turning, you can't stop them. If Kagai had only told us sooner, things wouldn't have gone this bad. Kind of wish they'd changed the portrait to like the damage, but semantics. Leanskin knew about Kagai, which meant that I was right. But Suzuha spoke before I could. I see, so you're the professor. You're the one who brainwashed Kagai, aren't you? Is that true? Is that the kind of person you are? I, myself, haven't done anything. Leanskin didn't try to deny it. 10 years ago, I found a helpless girl in the streets and helped her so she could grow up like this. Helped her? This never would have happened if she'd led a normal life. Could you not yell like that? My head is killing me. I'm telling the truth. She made contact with me. It was her plan to get plastic surgery and infiltrate this city. Evidently, the voice of God in her head tells her everything she needs to do. At first, I thought she was a homeless girl making up stories on hopes of getting food. But when I examined her brain and her memories, I found something very interesting and wonderful. This God she spoke of? And even as his face twisted in pain, he smiled proudly. This God she spoke of was me from the year 2036. You're a real mad scientist. Suddenly I heard a siren down below. Just hearing the sound made me feel uneasy. I never heard a sound like that before. What was this? This is guerrilla attack information. Repeat, guerrilla attack information. A guerrilla attack may occur in this area. Please get indoors and obtain further information from radio or television broadcasts. I heard the announcement come from the streets, the speakers on the street. One type of instrument Instantaneous Nation Alert, J Alert System. In case of an emergency like a large-scale disaster or an armed attack, the J Alert system uses communication satellites to automatically activate all disaster warning systems in the country to warn the populace. When activated, the J Alert triggers a series of loudspeakers and sirens placed all around the country. There are several different types, such as an emergency earthquake alert, Toko earthquake alert, tsunami alert, eruption alert, weather alert, ballistic missile alert, air raid alert, guerrilla and special forces attack alert, and a terrorism alert. A guerrilla attack? I could hear several helicopters in the sky above me. Their engines were clearly more powerful than the ones the median newscopters. I recognized the sound from the time I spent in the wartime worldline. I told you, didn't I? There's about to be a war over the time machine, right here. The Third World War is about to begin. I'm sure the people here have no idea a world war is about to begin in the middle of their city. And then, Dr. Leanskin leaned up against the wall, sat down, and stopped moving. Whether he had passed out or gone into a coma from the brain damage, I didn't have time to find out. It was like the air in the city had gotten heavier. That's how it felt. A chill ran down my spine. I spent a month at a war in that world line, and the same future was about to begin here. Something like that couldn't happen in Japan. It's like a TV show or movie, but I knew instantly that this wasn't fiction. There had been signs since 6 months ago. Here in Akibara, in Tokyo, in Japan, spies and soldiers from all around the world have been working in the shadows. So, I'd known this would happen. By refusing Suzuha's request, I'd chosen the world line where Mayuri survived. I doomed over 5 billion people. I was the one who chose this. It was me. Uncle Okabe. I looked and saw that Suzuha was pushing Mayuri into the time machine. We're going to have to jump to the past. What? Take care of Kagari. Suzuha had no idea that Kagari was already dead. She leaned into the cockpit. I raced over and grabbed onto the hatch and then looked inside. You mean a year ago? You're going back there? So suddenly? It's not sudden. And we're not going back there. She was tapping commands into the console as she spoke. What do you mean you're not going back there? I'm borrowing Big Sis Mayo for a little. Mayo was already strapped into a seat, just like I was when I jumped a year ago with Suzuha. Mayo, you? Okabe. I heard fierce gunfire and screams in the distance. I looked like some of the spies had started fighting each other. Kagari may have just wiped out a force from one nation, but an army from an entirely different one was still coming. Okabe, here. Maya handed me a smartphone. I took it without thinking. I can't get signal, so I'll give you this, okay? Read the message. I'll tell you how Mayushi feels. Wait, why are you going? If you go, it won't change anything. You can't do anything. And if you go, you won't be able to come back. No, it can't change. It can't be you who decides it, Okabe. This is Mayushi's job. I don't understand. I don't know what you're talking about. Please get out of the time machine, Mayu. If you leave the wheel of causality, then I won't even know why I chose this world line. Okabe. Mayu gently rubbed his my cheek, and then she smiled sadly. She softly pushed my shoulder. It threw me off balance and made me let go of the hatch. Then the hatch closed. It was too late. By the time I grabbed back on, the hatch was sealed shut. The door control were biometric. Only Suzuha could open it now. The time machine started to roar. Pale light began to gather around it. I'd seen this before, in the Alpha World line. Why, Mayuri? Just then, a group of our men kicked open the door and swarmed onto the roof. They were highly trained military operatives. And then an attack helicopter descended from the skies. The soldiers started to shoot at it, but the helicopter seemed to ignore them and slowly hovered in place. I realized the powerful rocket launchers on either side of its body were aimed at me. No, at the time machine. It couldn't be. No, don't. But my worst fears were realized. The helicopter fired its rockets. They headed straight for the time machine. It was still there, surrounded in light. The second I yelled, a powerful blast blew me back. The next thing I knew, I was crawling on the ground. I saw some of the soldiers had already joined the mountain of corpses on the ground, and some of them were still shooting at the helicopter. I stood up as fast as I could. My whole body felt like it was on fire. My skin was burnt in places. My clothes had been blasted off. No, my own problems didn't matter. What about the time machine? I looked up towards where the time machine had been. If I had jumped in time, I should have been able to avoid the rockets. But there were scraps of metal everywhere. I could tell they belonged to the time machine. Had it not made it in time? Suzuha, Mayuri. I looked around the cloud of smoke. Mayuri, where are you? Suzuha, answer me. There were bodies everywhere, but I couldn't see Mayuri Suzuha. I couldn't even tell if they were alive or dead. There were no bodies. They simply vanished. After that, things went far beyond my power of control. Brutal battles took place on the ground and in the skies of Akihabara. I'd seen footage of war in the Middle East on the news. Those same scenes were playing out in Akihabara. I managed to slip through the chaos of the battle and barely escaped the radio building with my life. But I had no choice but to leave Kagari's body. I took the long way back to the lab so that no one would find me. By the time I arrived, the sun had set, and the night sky was illuminated with explosions and tracer rounds. The whole of Akihabara was like someone had poked a beehive. The lights were out in the lab, but inside I found Dao, Maho, and Ferris staring at the TV and computer monitor. Where's Luca? Okabe, I'm so glad you're safe. Wait, you're hurt. Are you okay? Did you get caught up in the fighting? First aid, quick! I didn't have the energy to answer them. I looked towards the footage on the TV screen. The reporter was wearing a bulletproof vest and a hard hat. He was screaming on the top of his lungs, trying to drown out the reports from the other stations. It's like a war zone. The area around Akihabara Station and Central Street have been cut off. US and SDF helicopters, our tanks are... Oh, just now I heard another huge explosion. Is this really Japan? I feel like I'm reporting in on a civil war. The government says that is terrorism, but I can't imagine... And then a stray shot from an anti-material rifle, fired by a special forces team from some country or another, struck the news van's engine and blew it up. Oh, it exploded! There's been an explosion. Are you trying to get killed? Get out of here. This is a war. You're going to die. Special Defense Force. An SDF soldier forced his way onto the screen and yelled at the media to run away. A war with who? Hell if I know. Just after that, I heard another explosion and the video was cut off. Did they take a direct hit? everyone fell silent. It's dangerous here too. I can't go home. The net's in an uproar. Hey, Okuin, where's Suzuha? And did you find Mayushi? Suzuha and Mayushi are... Suzuha and Mayuri either went back to the past, or they're dead. What? Dao stormed up at me, infuriated. What do you mean? Which is it? An attack helicopter fired a rocket launcher at the time machine. It was destroyed. Suzuha and Mayuri were aboard. They were about to go back to the past. I saw some pieces of the time machine left, but it wasn't everything. And Dao, I looked and looked, but I couldn't find Suzuha and Mayuri's bodies anywhere. Now we're in a piece. It was like they vanished without a trace. Do you think they made it back to the past? The tears I tried to hold back, the tears I tried so hard to hold back came pouring out. Dao fell to his knees. Ferris and Maho were staring at me, eyes wide in shock. Dao slammed his fist into the floor. This can't be happening. It can't! I tried to wipe away my tears and realised I was holding something in my right hand. It was the cell phone that Mayu had given me. She told me to read the message on it. It wasn't locked. I opened the mail folder. There were several unsent messages addressed to her friends and family. One of them was addressed to me. Was this what she wanted me to read? With shaking fingers, I tapped on the screen and opened the message. Dear Okuin, it's Mayushi. I knew I should probably tell you this face to face, but I wasn't sure if I could say it right. I wasn't sure what I'd do if you tried to stop me, so I decided to send a message instead. I'm going to the past with Suzu. You're probably mad, and you want to know why, right? But it's something that I have to do. You see, I was the one who hid my hikoboshi, my strong hikoboshi. I always got back up and laughed no matter how bad things were. I was the one who hid him beyond the dark clouds. I was wrong. No one was trying to make you save the future all by yourself. You got Dao and Suzu and Luca and Ferris and Yuki, and now Maho. So this time, it's my turn. This is my first big mission as lab member 002. I'm sure you're worried, but I'll be fine. And even if something happens, I'll know you come to save me. The Hououin Kyouma I love will come riding on a new time machine he made to save the day. I know it. So I'm going. I promise I'll come back. I'll come back to you. So just wait for me a little, okay? I love you. I love Hououin Kyouma. But you know, I love Okabe Minato even more. You forgot, didn't you? You're my hostage. You can't be my hostage if you go away. You want me to come save you as if something happens? What kind of hostage are you? The mad scientist of madness would never go to save you. You're an idiot. But I'm a bigger idiot. My heart was in pain. It hurt so much. It was just like after I'd killed Krisu. Maybe I'd be better off if it just fell over and died. I would do anything to be released from this pain. But in the corner of my tear-blurred vision I saw it. Hououin Kyouma's final weapon. His last hope. No. It was the thing that had brought me so many nightmares. I staggered to the development room and threw off the cardboard that was covering it. There it was. The phone wave name subject to change, Unit 02. The thing that Maho and Dao would be working on, had been working on behind my back. If I could complete this. I turned around, wiped away my tears, and saw my friends looking depressed in the middle of the darkened room. You said you don't know how to make a time leap machine, right? Will you do what I tell you? I'll give you the answer that Krisu discovered. And then we'll activate the time machine. Maho said the one thing she didn't know how to compress the memory data. Which means that everything else was finished. And I knew how to complete it. Dao was the first to nod. I'm in. Tell us, Okabe. I'll help too. It's settled, Nia. All three responded with no hesitation. It turned towards me and spoke their answers clearly. Alright. Dao, you need to hack in Seren. We need to remote control the LHC. We use that to compress the memory data down to 36 bytes. That's small enough to send back to the past. Just 36 bytes? You could tell she was a scientist by the way her face went pale at the number. But sometimes this thing doesn't work right. Sometimes it's just a normal microwave. It's the 24-inch CRT Braun workshop. The phone wave name subject to change only works when it's turned on. Is CRT TV? Oh, so that's it. Just the words CRT were enough for her to figure it out. The life was coming back to their eyes. Then we may be able to finish it after all. But even if we can finish it, are you going to start using it now? We can't run human trials without doing anything else first. You're not confident in what you built? But Krisu did it already, in another worldline. That's because she's Krisu. I can't be her. You saw Krisu's message on @channel, right? What? Lastly, I like you to pass a message to the person I respect the most. I always regard myself as an especially ordinary intellect. And you were always the person I wanted to be. You were the real Amadeus. You got Krisu to say that? And now you're going to run away? I'm not running away. Don't underestimate me. I nodded back and smoothed back my hair, which had been muzzed by the explosion. Kyouma, here. First brought me my white lab coat, which had been hanging for ages on the wall in development room. I bit down my lip and wiped away the tear one more time. I took the lab coat and slipped my arms through the sleeves. I spun around so then the hem of the coat flew up and stood triumphantly at the centre of the lab, just as I used to. And then I declare in a loud voice, we will complete the phone wave name subject to change Unit 02 and perform time leap. Lend me your aid. This time, I'm never giving up. I looked at Dao first and finally at Maho. Even if I fail the first dozen times or the first 100 times, I'll try again 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, or 1,000,000,000 times. Trillions too much, though. I'll save them all. Suzaha, Mayuri, and Krisu too. And this time, and this is the first step. For the first time in years, I was back to my old self. My friends saw me and nodded, their faces filled with resolve. It took almost 2 full days to finish working on the phone wave. Meanwhile, the chaos in Akihabara continued, and it wasn't safe to go outside. Working on the time leap machine, while knowing that the battles might reach us at any minute, there was a special forces team might burst in at any time, was a hard job that wore on my nerves. But still, we managed to finish the machine somehow. I jumped. The next thing I knew, I was standing in the middle of an Akihabara alleyway. I was holding a cell phone in my hand. I had a nasty headache and there was a staggering pain in my neck. I felt a pain on the side of my head like a migraine headache, and on the left side of my face hurt really bad. My vision flashed with dark and bright spots. I took a look around. The alleyway was still peaceful. I heard no gunshots and no explosions. The otaku were still enjoying their shopping and girls in maid outfits were calling out to passers-by. That alone was enough to tell me for sure. The time leap was a success. I looked at the time on my smartphone. July 7th, quarter to 6. I had around 20 to 50 minutes before the war began. That still wasn't enough. But the 24-hour limit of the time leap machine meant this was as far as I can go. No point in getting negative. If the machine had been finished just a little later, it would have been too late. I should be glad to have made it here at all. I knew what I'd been doing at this time. I was running around Akihabara looking for Mayuri. First, I needed to call Maho. Okay. Tell her how to make the time leap machine. Hello, did you find her? Hey, we have signal. Huh. But I know where she is. Hurry back to the lab. I hung up before she could answer and went back to the lab myself. She was already there by the time I arrived. You found Maho, right? Don't you have to go get her? Itaru was acting a little awkward, probably because he just hit me. Hiyajo, you did it. Huh? I grabbed both her hands and shook them. Both Maho and Dao seemed confused as to what was going on. I've time leaped from 48 hours in the future. What? Seriously? We finished it? Sometime in the next 48 hours? Yeah. But how? I'll explain later. There's no time, so listen carefully. A lot of lives at stake. I'd gone over the mission many times while waiting for the phone wave to finish. I thought of everything to say. Hajo, access Amadeus right now and delete Krisu and Maho, as well as their backups. And delete? Inskin is not planning on using them for peaceful purposes at all. What? I can't just... I told you a time leap, right? Akihabara is going to be a war zone in less than an hour from now. They're coming for the time machine. And that will be beginning of the Third World War. If we don't stop it, Suzanne and Mayuri will both die. Maho and Dao went pale when I heard that. Really? Wait, really? So do as I tell you, please. I can access the data, but to do anything, I need the professor's access rights. That's Dao's job. Crack in and destroy the data. Okie dokie, leave it to me. Dao started typing at incredible speed. His daughter's life was on the line. Maho stood next to him and typed in her ID password to begin accessing Amadeus. I'm going to the radio building. You guys stay here. Oh, Queen, take care of Suzaha. Right, leave it to me. Dao didn't even look up from his computer. Suzaha, Mayuri. When I made it to the top of the radio building, Mayuri quickly ducked behind the time machine. Mayuri was trying not to look at me. Her eyes were a little red because she'd been crying so much. She'd heard me talking to about Krisu's sacrifice in the Alpha worldline. My heart ached again, realized how much I hurt her. Mayuri, you're not going to use the time machine to go back to the past. Are you going to use the time machine to go back to the past? Huh? How? I've time leaped from 48 hours in the future. I know all about it. What? Is that true? I nodded. This place is going to be a war zone in less than 30 minutes. What? Did someone find out about the time machine somehow? Yeah. This is bad, then we'll have to jump right now. Suzaha leapt into the time machine. Wait. No. Wait a second, Dao and Harujo are dealing with it. They're smart people. It'll go fine, but if it doesn't, you may die. What do you mean, May? What happened to us before you time-lapped? Wait. There was some fatal failure before you time-leaped, right? I didn't know how I should tell them. No, there's no time to hesitate. You were inside the time machine, and before you jumped, it was hit by a rocket launcher. But I couldn't find your bodies in the rubble. I see. That's why you said maybe. Then the future hasn't been decided. There's still a possibility of success. I thought you'd say that. Don't try and stop me, Uncle. Her eyes were filled with resolve. They seemed to say that if I tried to stop her, she'd do whatever it took to ensure I failed. Of course, I had no intention of stopping her. She just come here to do her job, and there was no way to change her mind. Actually, I came here to ensure that she could jump without having to worry about Stratford's interference. But Mayuri? The uncertainty that had been going in and out of my mind ever since I read her message reared its head again. Mayuri, are you really leaving? I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but I, and Krisu and everyone else, we love you. I came to this world because I wanted to save you. So if you leave, we... Ocarine. No. I know exactly how you feel, but... Hey, Uncle Ocarine? And then Suzuha softly spoke. Operation Alquia has begun. Operation Alquia? It's not the original plan I was told about, but we're not going back to July 28th. We're going back to August 21st. August 21st? That was the day Suzuha had come in the time machine, and the day I'd given up on everything. We need Big Sis Mayo for this plan to work. That's what my dad told me from the future just now. What? In the future, Dao had come up with the operation I knew nothing about? And he needed Mayuri for it? Her unexpected words sent my mind reeling. Ocarine. And then Mayuri came close enough to, for me to hold her and grab my hand tight. She looked a little like she was about to cry. But her eyes were clear and bright. Mayuri, let me go, okay? Mayushi's a lab member too, you know? Mayushi's gonna take her glum Hikaboshi and slap him across the face, okay? That is indeed what she does in the Steins Gate ending. Please? I remember what that was in that message. I remember how she must feel right now. The last remains of my hesitation slowly melted away. I thought I was carrying all the burden myself. But I was wrong, wasn't I? I couldn't see that. I couldn't see what was right in front of me. It wasn't just you, Mayuri. I had all the rest of the lab with me. I suddenly felt a horrible pain in my leg as the shock knocked me several meters forward onto the ground. I looked down at my leg and saw that there was a red stain around the calf. It felt like I was on fire. The pain flared up each time my heart beat, and I couldn't stand. Was I just shot? You're Kagari? A girl in a motorcycle suit was standing there. Kagari had a handgun in her right hand, and in her left she was holding what looked like a bomb. There was no sign of the professor and the other men in camo. That much was fortunate, but Kagari had shown up a little earlier than I expected. I hadn't quite planned for this, but I'd eventually run out of time. But evidently I'd run out of time. Suzuha, get in the time machine. Go now! What? I'm sorry for being stupid. Dao is capable of doing whatever it takes to protect you. He's never going to fail, you know that. Uncle Ocarine? So the machine will be fine. Just fine, right? Of course. In fact, there was no sign of anyone but Kagari showing up. That meant that Dao and Maho's efforts had been successful, and they kept the secrets of the time machine out of Stratford's hands. Mario, you too, hurry. But what about you, Okabe? She was looking at my injured leg and panicking. There's no need to worry about me. I'm not going to die for another 14 years. The guy fired again. The bullet struck less than 30 centimeters away from where I was being lying on the ground. Nobody move or I'll kill him. Don't get in the time machine or I'll... don't get in the time machine. I'm going to give it to the professor. Then I'm going to tell him... And then I'm going to have him tell me how to use it and go back to the future. Forget about her, I'll handle this, just go! You two, Suzuha. You can leave Kagari to me. Got it. Big sis, Mayu? Inside. What? Huh? Wait! Suzuha pushed Mayu inside the time machine and out of my sight. Uncle? Okabe, take care of Kagari. Roger! Suzuha followed Mayu inside. At the same time, the hatch started to close. I told you not to do that. Come out! Kagari ran up to it. I forced myself to stand, ignoring the piercing pain, and blocked her away. Won't let you interfere. Shut up, move! I refuse. Move! Kagari kicked my injured leg and hard. The pain made me so dizzy I could hardly stand. Kagari slipped past me and tried to grab on the time machine. She was going to use the bomb in her hand. If she did, things would turn out the same as last time. My time would be wasted. Get out, or I'll use the bomb and blow up the machine. Stop! I grab her from behind and wrap my arms under hers. I pull her away from the machine, ignoring the pain in my leg. Don't you understand? If you do that, your mom's going to die. But I... Just calm down, please. Mary tossed a hard drive to me from the almost completely closed hatch. Okabe, here! What fell on the floor was the thing Krisu had left behind for Maho. So even though they removed the external hard drive from the case, Dao removed the external hard drive from the case. There we go, that was what I was trying to say. This is Krisu's? How did it get here? I thought Russia had destroyed it. Don't get mad, Dad. I think he's going to need it for the time machine research. I could barely hear Suzuha's voice from within the machine. So that was it. Dao had hid it in the time machine? Bye, Okabe. I'll come back, okay? I could see Mayu looking at me from the small gap in the door. That's right. This was a temporary goodbye. I'll see her again someday. Right, Mayu? So I'd send off my brave lab member number 2 with my head held high. I'm counting on you, lab member 002, Shina and Mayu. Execute Operation Alqueer. Slap me in the face for being so pathetic. Yep, leave it to me. Okabe, I love you. Yeah. I smiled as the hatch sealed completely shut. The time machine started to roar. I felt like I heard a helicopter in the distance. I believed in him, but for now I had no proof that Dao had been able to crack the complicated Amadeus system and delete every bit of data. It was possible that Special Forces teams were all around the world were converging on Akibara right now. Imagine that made me want to hurry. Quickly. Go, quickly! I felt like praying as I watched the pale light surrounding the time machine. No go, Mama. Big sis Suzuha. Kagari's cries went unanswered. A bright light covered the time machine, and it vanished from this world. It worked. Gary sobbed and glared at me with eyes filled with hate. Why? Why did you let Mommy go? She shook away my hands and pointed the gun at my head. I stared her dead in the face. Your wonderful mommy's gone with Suzuha to go scold a stupid man who ruined the world. She's going to do something very important for the sake of the whole world. You're lying. You're lying. Mommy and Big Suzuha both left me behind. I'm not lying. And I'm about to make it so you met Mam. And I'm about to make it so you can meet Mommy in a much happier place. So let's stop this, okay? No, I can't believe that. No, I know you'll believe me. Because I know who you really are. And how kind you really are. The gun barrel started to shake a little. You know me? I do. A time leap from 48 hours in the future. Kagami put her hands on her helmet as her body spasmed with pain. I hear the voice of God. It tells me not to believe you. You're a liar. You're an enemy, it says. It says if I kill you, I can go back to Mami. It says to kill the bad man who's trying to destroy the world. And then I can go back to my old world. Kagami wasn't making any sense. Was this brainwashing? Had the professor done something so cruel? I don't understand. I don't understand. I grabbed the frailing hand that held the gun and looked deep into her eyes. She was crying and scared. Listen, Mommy's not coming back. But if we do our best, we can be able to make a world where you and Mommy can be happy. That's why she travelled through time. You mustn't waste this chance she gave you. You can still start over. Is it okay to disobey the voice of God? Yeah. The voice of God she was hearing was probably the professor's brainwashing. How far in had its claws sunk into her mind? I had no way to tell. But now that we had Maho, a specialist in brain science, if we worked hard at treatment, I'm sure she'll be okay. Hey, Okabe. Her voice was normal again. I want to see Mommy. Can I? You can? Someday. I'm glad. Someone just got shot. And I'm guessing it's Kagami. There was another sudden gunshot. Kagami's body collapsed right in front of me. I looked over at where it came from and I saw another girl in a black motorcycle suit. She wasn't wearing a helmet, so I could tell it was Kuryo Moka pointed the gun at us. Her face was deathly pale, and she was crying. Why? Why are you here? Why, Kuryo Moka? FB. Hey, FB. I didn't let that woman trick me. I knew this was a fake phone, so please don't abandon me, FB. FB. The cell phone fell from her hands. Another shot from the gun blew it into fragments. I held Kagami in my arms. Her chest was turning red. Hey, hang in there. I'm glad. Even the voice of God wasn't right all the time. This is my punishment. I destroyed her heart and tried to manipulate her. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to grow up like this. Mommy, where are you? Where are you? Her voice grew thinner. Kuryo Moka collapsed some distance away. Her eyes were unfocused, and all she did was mumble. She didn't seem capable of coherent thought. Both of them would be in danger if I didn't get them to a hospital. But dozens of men in camo jumped over the fence on the roof out of nowhere. What? Even Darren and Maho couldn't succeed in this shorter time span. Was this worldline going to converge to that war, so that the war started here no matter what? No, but it wasn't a waste. Nothing else? They bought me time. They had delayed the attack long enough for Suzuha and Mayuri to leave. That's right. In this instant, we'd already won. The way forward was still uncertain, but there was no doubt that the path to Steins Gate lay before me. Target 1 lost. Target 2 and Target 3 lost as well. What's going on? The leader was talking to on his radio. I could see attack helicopters in the sky. I heard that siren again. This is the guerrilla attack information. Repeat, guerrilla attack information. A guerrilla attack may occur in this area. Please get indoors and obtain further information from radio or television broadcasts. The war was started. Just as I thought. Even the time leap couldn't change that. Is that you, Lintaro? Leanskin appeared from behind the men in camo. That's right. He was a secret member of Stratford. Just like them. What are you doing here? Is Kagari dead? Tell me, Lintaro. Where is the time machine? I lay Kagari down on the ground and slowly rose back up. Blood won't stop coming out of my wound, out of the wound on my leg. The pain was getting worse. But even still, I stood up proud and strong. In front of the men with their guns, in front of the attack helicopters with their rocket launchers, in front of the professor, in front of the war that was about to begin. I laughed as loud as I could in that voice. His look is fine as look. His leg is looking pretty fine there. Listen well, fools. The time machine you sought to obtain is gone. It no longer exists in this time. Too bad. Now, cause your own incompetence. Curse your own incompetence. And tremble in fear. For I, the great Hououin Kyouma, will never lose to you. And I will never lose to fate. I will find the path to Steins Gate. That's right. This is the beginning of a long engraved, long epigraph necessary to reach Steins Gate. Madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Einstein had once said that when he despaired of human folly. But now, I would gladly give myself over to that madness and folly. I would use every bit of deduction and observation within me to seek the lone, difficult outcome, which the laws of God could not reach. That is my choice. And we reach credits once again. It's interesting how things played out. Still some questions left unanswered. But progress was made. It's not quite over yet, however. Now that the causal link has been established, allow me to explain the final stage of the plan. The purpose of this plan is to change divergence and reach the unknown world line called Steins Gate. By the way, I'm the one who named it Steins Gate. You of all people know why I named it that, right? Because it sounds cool. Isn't that right? (2025 AD). The Future Gadget Laboratory, aka the Lab. It was also the headquarters of the research resistance organization, Valkyrie. Once located in a room in a multi-purpose building in Akibara, it was moved to a new base after the Third World War. The place was far too filthy to really be called a lab. But it was, without a doubt, the home of the best minds in the world as they searched for a way to reach Steins Gate. In the center of the room, Okabe Renato was delivering a monologue, posing like a strange actor as his white coat flapped. Sorry, just first. Reach the moment that you're in right now because you wanted to save Krisu. All the preparation for my plan are complete. The rest is up to you. That's the final phase of Operation Skull. The final phase of Operation Skull will now commence. The final mission to reach Steins Gate, given by Okabe Renato in the year 2025 to himself in the year 2010. The parameters for this mission's success were as follows. Change the results of established events without changing the events themselves. Deceive the original Okabe Renato, deceive the world. Skuld is the youngest of the three known sisters, the goddess fate of Norse mythology. She sits at the Erd string at the base of Yadavashlas, the world tree, where she tends to the tree's growth. Skull is the goddess that controls the future and is also one of the Valkyries. You're missing? Change the outcome without changing the established events. For some reason, it just makes me laugh the idea of very weird shorts like that in the middle of a war. Krisu, aka Maho Hyojo, was staring him. Krisu? aka Maho. Why is she called Krisu? Yeah. Heijo Maho was staring at him, annoyed from a distance away. Krisu was Maho's codename in Valkyrie. Maho turned towards Ishida Itaru, who was sitting next to her. Hey, is that really the right way to go about this? Yeah, probably. Itaru was grinning. He was history's greatest super hacker, and he loved Hououin Kyouma too much. Isn't Okabe Renato going to be embarrassed when he sees that with everyone else? Isn't Okabe Renato going to be embarrassed when he sees that with everyone else in 2010? Don't worry, back then he was even more amazing. Oh, I see. Maho sighed and shook her head. But even as she sighed, inside, she was so sad that she felt her heart was going to burst. She probably wasn't the only one feeling that way. Itaru, Luka Ushiribara, and even even Akira Ramhio, who was doing the filming, all seemed a little sad when they thought about what was going to come. Deceive yourself. Deceive the world. That is the choice you must make to reach Steins Gate. And then Okabe walked towards the camera that Minato was holding. I added a T for some reason. He insisted that standing away from the camera with his back turned gave it a more atmosphere. So why was he walking towards it now? Maho sighed again. Okabe took the camera from first and brought the lens up to his face. And then he said the final line. Good luck, mad scientist. L. Sai. Kongaru. And then he stopped the recording. And then video message to the past was complete. It had taken 15 years to get to this point. It was such a long time. And at the same time, it had felt so short. Okay, that should do it, Nya. Alright, now just to send the demo back to the past. Lukako, don't screw up the sender or timing, okay? Right, we're sending that one to your phone in 2010. An entire video message goes to Suzuha in 2011. Yeah, you've got it. Okabe came over to Maho and the others, his white lab coat flapping as he walked. Good work. The way to Science Gate is now open. This is all I can do. The rest is up to me in 2010. Yeah? What is it? You look so glum. It's because everyone's so worried. Our first trial of this time machine is going to be a manned experiment. Wait. Oh. Maho looked up at the huge time machine, unit number FGC-193 behind them. It was almost the same shape as the C-204 model that had appeared in Akihabara in 2010, but it was still a prototype that, with many unstable parts. Don't worry, I trust my talented right hands. It'll be a success. You're going to die in 2025 in this world line. That's unavoidable. But that doesn't mean I want you to see... But that doesn't mean I want you to see... Wait. But that doesn't mean I want you to see you commit suicide. They'd had this debate 1,000 times before. Maho herself thought she'd come to terms with it, but at the last minute she found herself bringing it up again. You're right. Suzuha told me once that I was going to die in 2025. She said I died saving Mayu from a thug with a knife. Mayu's not here right now, but the worldline always converge. I was sure I was going to die in 2025, but... Okabe flipped his white lab coat up a little too dramatically and put his hands to his chest. I don't necessarily have to die, do I? Vanishing from the year 2025 is the same as dying, isn't it? What do you mean? The theory was new to Maho. In other words, I don't have to die to leave the year 2025. I could travel to another part of time and space in our first time machine. That's some serious positive thinking. But as a theory, it works, right? The world can be deceived. The message from another world line gave me courage. What I'm about to do is also a trial run for Operation Scald. Yeah, you're right. But to Maho and the others, it was all the same. After 2025, Okabe Minato would be gone, and he would never come back. He wasn't saying it, but he knew it too. He stared at each of his friends for a moment in turn, as if to help him memorize their faces. Most of the founding members of Valkyrie and the former members of the Future Gadget Lab were here to see him go. Hashida Itaru, Akiya Mimhio, aka First Nanyan, Ushirobara Luka, Hayajo Maho, and standing quietly in the back, Hashida Yuki. A 7-year-old Suzuha. Hashida Suzuha was hiding behind her legs. Oh, can we see it? That would be so adorable. Everyone, thanks for coming this far for someone like me. But this battle against the laws of God continues. The next fight is in 2036. Until then, keep it up. Good luck, Valkyrie. As she listened to Okabe's final goodbye, Maho tried her best to stop herself from crying. She couldn't cry here. She decided long ago that she'd keep hope in her heart as she watched him go. Alright, time to go catch my escaped hostage. Take care of Suzuha too. Leave it to me. With the K black hole tracer loaded into this thing, I'm sure I'll be just fine. That was a special device that only the C-193 was equipped with. Capable of tracing a special... It was capable of tracing the space-time distortion continually created by the K black hole anywhere from 70 million years in the past to the future. They could call it a time machine tracker. It had been specifically designed to allow them to find another time machine. Of course, they had only one reason for making it. To find Mayuri Shia and Suzuha Amane, who had gone beyond the space-time horizon on Tanbata in 2011. They'd guessed that when the battery at the They guessed that when the battery on the C-204 failed, they lost the ability to properly time travel. So after finding them with the C-193, Okabe would give them a spare battery and send them back to this time. If possible, he'd go too. If they could do that, this mission would be 100% complete. But doing that with his prototype time machine would be extremely difficult. Okabe had to have known that. Perhaps he was thinking of sacrificing himself to send Mayu and Suzuha back to this time. Alright, I'm off. See you. Wait! The last member of the Future Gadget Lab, Shinya Kagari, came running onto the floor. Kagari? I wondered why you weren't here. Where have you been? Sorry, I went to get this. Okabe, take this. For good luck. Kagari handed him a faded green Upa keychain. You sure? This is important to you, isn't it? Yes. This is why I'm giving it to you. Make sure you give it back and bring Mami back too. Got it. I'll bring it back. I promise. Okabe took the keychain and gave everyone one final firm handshake. Finally, he came to Maho. Stay safe. You too, Krisu. No, Maho. Hey. Yeah? Do you think Steins Gate really exists? Do you think there's a world between where both Mayu and Krisu survive? It was the first time she'd asked that in 14 years, since the battle began on that year's Tanbata. It does. I know it. Okabe Minato, Hououin Kyouma, answered her with a smile. But his smile seemed so sad that Maho couldn't help but cry. Don't cry. I'm not crying, sob. Maho gave him a hug and swore to herself that she'd never forget his warmth and conviction. Goodbye. Okabe nodded a little. Okay, everyone, step back. This will begin the operation, and the name of this operation shall be Operation Alter. Altair? No. He shouted as he tried to raise his own spirits, not just everyone else's, and then he entered the cockpit of the FGC-193 time machine. Maho and the others quickly began the countdown sequence to start the time machine. Since this was a trial run too, they needed to cover all the data they could get. A low roar enveloped the whole machine. The vibration and the noise was so loud that the building shook a little. But as far as Maho could tell, the data was normal. The thick hatch of the time machine was slowly closing. Then there was a sharp sound of its sealing tight. Cutting Okabe off from the rest of them forever. It's going to work, right? Don't worry, Kyouma will do just fine, yeah. That's right. He's the man who makes the impossible possible. Yeah, that's that Okabe. A rainbow-coloured fog started to rise up around the machine. The sound of the engine grew so loud that it threatened to blow out the eardrums, so no one could hear a thing. Ocarine! The tower screamed, unable to hold back any longer. It doesn't matter if you're supposed to die, come back here anyway. Everyone will be waiting. I'll be waiting too, so make sure you come back. As they screamed, the machine started to fade away. And then, just as he promised on that dismal day, he followed the two Hamis. With a blinding flash of light, the time machine took off from the year 2025, heading to a time far away, and disappeared. and go to the world which is still unseen.